Hello and welcome to the Quever channel. I am Jason, your host. So, how exactly do I set up technology in a car? Well, first of all, the batteries easily. If I was going EV, I would have just plugged it into the EV battery. I mean, the 50 to 87 kilowatt hour battery, massive batteries, they can handle a computer plugged into them easily. But on a hybrid or a petrol, I'll be grabbing one of my big power stations, big or medium, depending on what I actually utilize. Give me a second. Okay, this is my little Buetti. I call it little, but little Buetti. It's got, I think, 80% charge at the moment. Yeah, it's up to 80% charge at the moment. 80% is the healthy amount of charge to keep one of these at. This can output up to 1000 watt, but it wouldn't last that long with that. It's got a total amount that it carries inside it of about 726 watt hours, I believe. What it should say on the back. It's got. Come on. Where do you say? (718 watt hours). A little less than 1 kilowatt. For example, this could run this entire setup here for about 7 hours. About 7 hours, which isn't bad. And of course, sticking this in the car would nothing. Now, I've got this one. I've got one over there that's 1000 watt. And I've got one that's 2000 watt. So those are the three different things. I could use any of them, or I could use multiple. I could use two in there. This is not going to add a lot of weight to a car. I can securely strap this in the back storage area and it's got a lot of connectors. It's got your main connectors. It's got the charge connectors here. And that it's 5 volt 3 amp basic USB-C. No, USB-C. It's got two 100 watt PD 3.0 specifications. It's got a couple of 12 volt 10 amp, which for laptops and stuff like that. It's got a cigarette lighter connector, and it's got two primary 220 to 240 AC outputs that can draw up to that. And it's got a wireless charger for thingy. It's a lovely little one, this Bluetti is. This is the one I've had, I think, the longest. This was the first one I bought of these. Plus, those two outputs are both sine wave, which means regulated power, which means very good for computers and stuff like that. It can charge at a maximum of 200 watt maximum, and that you can charge it via plug, you can charge it via solar. It's got special connectors. I can plug it into the solar panels out there and recharge it and so on. It's got a built-in this light and everything. And I'm very, very happy with it. Very robust as well. So, that the power source in a car. Now I could use this. This could be my entire entertainment system in a thingy. This is my OLED Steam Deck. It's bloody beautiful. It would be wonderful. I'd probably get some like a JSOX dock for it that has a stand on the back and so on. But yeah, that's usable. It's very low power. At low power usage, 12, 13 watt. I could use this tablet right here, the one that we're doing all this on. After all, it's got a 4070 built into it. It's amazing. I could pretty much do any kind of gaming I want on that. There's lots of options. I could get myself something different. Because I would prefer to have a Windows-based handheld for the car, not an Android-based handheld, not a SteamOS-based handheld. I would prefer a Windows handheld, and I don't know whether I want to. I like using my tablet in here. This might be worthy of actually investing in and putting together a system for use with the car specifically. I'll never leave it in there because you don't leave expensive stuff in a car. You do not, especially in the area I live. I will never leave any of the stuff in the car. It will only take me it will all be very modular. It will take me like 10 to 20 minutes to get the car ready for whenever I want to go out or spend time in the car. And that will be part of my routine, part of what helps me. So, of course, the ideal thing, let's pause this. You know what? I've just been sitting here for probably about 10 minutes and I forgot to turn the pause button off. So I have no idea which parts we talked about and which part we haven't talked about. Let's keep going. What the hell did I talk about? The X-ray glasses. Okay, we'll have to let's redo that bit. The X-ray glasses will be a perfect part of the coping strategy and the technology ecosystem in the back seat, because these things will handle a lot of what I need. Primary visuals, I can plug it into something like this. I can plug it into a handheld, or I can, and it's a static screen in front of my head. It doesn't matter how much jostling about there is happening in the car. As I've always said, I much prefer to use this with I much prefer to use this with my X-Reel glasses because I don't like to look down on this. It gives me a creak in the neck. I don't like to look down to play games. I'm 50, I'm in my 50s. I don't want to get a creak in my neck looking down at stuff like this. No, not gonna happen. But if I plug in the X-Reel into here, then this becomes just a controller. And the visuals are on here in front of me on a 30-inch size screen. Brilliant, amazing clarity. Awesome. So, handheld it's probably going to be, because even if I choose to put this mini PC, if I put this mini PC in the back of that computer, back of a car, and use this, it's wonderful. It's more powerful than the thing. It's a beautiful little thing, the EM680 is. It'd have Windows on, 2 terabytes plus 2 terabytes M2, and a 1 terabyte micro SD, 3 terabytes right there. But I would have to plug in a mouse, a keyboard, a game controller, and even if I got myself a cheap 10-inch touch screen monitor for it, because you need something to plug in before you got to the point where it would use the X-Reel. So you'd need something like that before using the X-Reel. Then even if I got a touchscreen one of them, it's not perfect, not ideal, because using a mouse and keyboard in the back of a vehicle is not ideal. Using a handheld is ideal, but the Steam Tech might not be powerful enough. But it really isn't about the power. It's also to do with the fact that certain things don't work as well on Linux. For example, okay, so here I've got my games. My games I'm running in SteamOS mode, thingy I can play a game, but what happens if I want to switch screen and use Discord and see what my friends are saying? I have to drop down into desktop mode. I have to set things up in desktop mode. And then I lose a lot of the functionality. And it's like, love SteamOS, but for this situation, I don't want to go SteamOS. I want to go Windows, because Windows I can play the games in Windows, and I can have background chat going, I can stream, I can do anything I want in Windows without having to jump through hoops. And those hoops would be increased if I had to do it in a vehicle. Now, there is another way of doing this. I've got a very cheap tablet in the other room. Cheap tablet in the other room. There's no reason that while I'm in the car, I couldn't take that with me and hook it onto the back of one of the seats and have that specifically set up with Discord. But then again, you've got the problem that, what about audio? What about talking? What about going into chill chat and conversations with my friends? Doesn't work that well, does it? So we're back to a Windows handheld would mean it'd have everything in it, and I'd be able to do all the bits and pieces I want, and I wouldn't have to worry about. I can just do it all on the same multiple screens inside it now. So something like the ROG Ally, but the ROG Ally has another problem. It isn't just the overheating. I quite like the ROG Ally with the Z1 Extreme. It's a very nice, powerful Windows handheld, and it's matured quite well. But I would be hesitant to use that as the main system, simply because, how can I put this? I don't know how viable it is long term. So I could go from a Neo or something like that, but I prefer not to buy something. And you say to me, well, why don't you just use the tablet here? Why don't you bite the bullet and use the tablet? This tablet here is amazing. I mean, we're using it now for all of this. It's proved its worth. Actually, it's built-in mics and built-in camera isn't that bad. So if I was inside in the vehicle, I could use that like that. I could use it to do Discord and everything, can stream and everything. It's possible, but it has such limited connectability. It's like, why? Where are you, there's something here that I want to get back in a sec. I'll remember to unpause this when I get back. this. This is an excellent little docking station hub. I could connect this to my system here, this little system, and I could take it into the back of the car. But I'm very hesitant to take this tablet outside the house. Very hesitant. It is a challenge, very much a challenging situation, what I'm looking at the moment. I'm going to have to do some deep diving into this shit. I have a much cheaper laptop I could use. But once again, everything's a challenge. So this is Jason for the Clever Channel. I'm going to have something to eat now. It's my lunchtime because I've been up since 1 o'clock. So it's my lunchtime. I've already had my breakfast. It's lunchtime now. So bye-bye for now, you wonderful, special people of awesomeness.